Some of you just got back from out of the Essex Park and headed right across western Kansas. I don't know if you ever heard the story about General Custer was talking to his troops. And he said, well, men, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And they said, well, what's the bad news? Well, we're surrounded by Indians. We're outnumbered 2-1 and it doesn't look nice. They said, what's the good news? We just don't have to go across Kansas on the way home. Jared mentioned something. I was kind of amazed by looking at Rick tonight. I lived here in Columbia for 28 years. About 8 years ago, my wife and I moved to a little town Anyway, I owned the house across the street where I lived here in Columbia, and obviously the house I lived in, and was unable to sell either house, and so started renting them out. And to be honest, it has been a nightmare. Just horrible. I never had to evict anyone until just recently, and it was just so miserable. I don't know when you go into all the details, but something happened. As I was going through all of this, as I was trying to act justly and fairly and kindly and so on, and try to be empathetic to my patients, with my renters' needs and stuff, one of the things that hit me was I got to thinking, if I were God, and I were the landlord of this earth, I think I'd be ready to evict people. And then, because I was being treated wrong, I'd been cussed at, yelled at, and you name it, had property destroyed. And then I got to thinking, would I love them so much that I would allow one of my own kids to die in their place? And it really began to put it in perspective, just the love of God. And it's ironic, or not ironic, but a contrast as you go through the Bible. You just see two major themes. On the one hand, you see God's justice, his total, absolute hatred of sin, holy hatred. If you ever read C.S. Lewis trilogy, the Space trilogy, he talks about in the second book, Airlander, Weston had this, Ransom had a holy hatred toward Weston, this Satan kind of character. God has a holy hatred of sin. At the very same time, you just see incredible grace and mercy and forgiveness offered to those who are willing to repent and to receive it. And, we usually tend to think of Jesus as sort of meek, mild, gentle, there's some little kids and all this. And yet, in the book of Revelation, right at the very end, just before Christ is getting ready to return, the Apostle John said, I saw heaven standing open, and there before me was a white horse, whose rider, Jesus, is called Faithful and True. With justice he judges and makes war. And usually we don't think of Jesus as being a warring God. And yet, as you read the Bible, sadly, war fills the pages of Scripture. And God would use war to bring a nation back to himself. Some of you may have heard this joke before about this guy who had this mule, Missouri mule, good mule, stubborn as all get out. And he could not use the mule because he could never get the thing trained. And he didn't want to get rid of it, so he hired this big city mule trainer to come out. And when the guy got there, he kind of looked around the barnyard and saw this two-by-four over there. He walked over, got the two-by-four, walked back, just reared back and hit that old mule as hard as he could between the eyes. And the mule fell to his knees and got up shaking his head. The farmer ran out and says, why'd you do that? The guy says, well, I had to get his attention first. And, we don't like that idea. And yet, scripturally, if God will use a feather, the feather will do. But he will also use a two-by-four, if a two-by-four is called. And this summer, as you probably well know, you all have been going through the Bible, having different speakers take different Bible characters. And I was talking to the staff, and they gave me a whole list of people I could choose. And I got to thinking, I chose Gideon. A lot of you know the story of Gideon. But it's important to set it in context. And let me just read the context. Again, the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord. And for 7 years, God, gave them into the hands of the Midianites. And if you think about Jordanians, Arabs on the other side of the river, that's what we're talking about. Because the power of the Midianites was so oppressive, the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in mountain cliffs, caves, and strongholds. Whatever the Israelites planted, their crops, the Midianites, the Amalekites, and other eastern peoples invaded the country. They camped on the land and ruined the crops all the way to Gaza, and did not spare a living thing from Israel, neither sheep, nor cattle, nor donkeys, and so on. Life was miserable. I mean, absolutely miserable. And, here in the United States, we tend to be sort of a little cocky, thinking, well, we're protected, we've got oceans on either side of us, we're God's people, God will never allow any bad to happen to us. The United States could fall just like that. One Indian bomb, one gigantic sword flare knocked out our computers. Worse than does. But the reason the United States would fall, if it does fall, when it falls, well, not because God was too weak to defend us. It's because we, in our foolishness, turned our back on Him. And I'm not sure if you've noticed how much and how fast the United States is going downhill. Morally, spiritually, politically, corruption, everything. Just even here in Columbia, just in the last few days, I had actually a lady who was in my house in town. Her son's very best friend was one of the guys who got shot in Columbia about 4 days ago over the park. It's hitting close to home. Whenever you see moral decay, God will judge. Now, when God does judge, when Satan accuses, his is to condemn. When God judges, it's revealed. It's hard. Sometimes, there is no turning back. And yet, God will often use it to bring His people back to Himself. And what's interesting, in the Bible it says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And of all people, He chooses a guy named Gideon. And in the Bible, there's also what's called theophanies. The word for God is theos. So a theophany is God appearing in physical flesh, in a physical body. And in the Old Testament, Jesus would often appear as the angel of the Lord. And the terms angel of the Lord and Jehovah would be used interchangeably. Well, Gideon is out under his dad's oak tree, and one day Jesus appears as the angel of the Lord. And takes him back, shocks him, and Gideon's pretty skeptical. Is this really an angel? Are you really who you say you are? And so he asks a sign. And you heard the phrase down Gideon. And he was always doubting, always questioning. He was a very fearful man, low self-esteem. And so he prepares a sacrifice. The Lord zaps it, disappears, and God disappears. Woo! Okay, I believe. And then the Lord spoke to him and called him a great man of valor. Oh, mighty man of valor, valiant warrior. And it's like Gideon looks around and says, who, me? No, you got the wrong guy, Lord. My clan, my families, of course Manasseh's not the best tribe anyway. Of all the tribes of Israel, I'm from Manasseh. My family, we're the least in Manasseh, and I'm the least in the family. It's like, God, you picked the wrong guy. And the Lord says no. And it's interesting, He uses past tense. He doesn't say you will become a mighty man of valor. He says you are a mighty man of valor. And that's how God saw it. And what's interesting, and I really hope that you'll pick this to heart, never think that you're too small for God to use. In fact, the Bible says God gives grace to the humble, but He resists the proud. And as you go through the Bible, it's time and time and time again, God picks the most unlikely people, a bunch of fishermen, tax collectors, to turn the world upside down. A lot of you know the story, I'm not going to go through all the details. But God very gently begins to take Gideon from where he was, and He gives him a first test. And because God's intent is that Gideon will be used to deliver Israel from the Midianites and from Amalekites you're talking hundreds, 135,000 soldiers coming against Israel. And God says, you're going to be the general. You're going to be the leader to do this mighty thing. But here's your first assignment. I want you to go into the town tonight, tear down the altar of Baal and the Asherah pole, which is where they had all the sexual rituals. Tear it down and do it. And sacrifice a bull. And Gideon is scared. So he takes his men and he does it at night because he's afraid. He's afraid of his dad, he's afraid of his family, he's afraid of the city, everything. And he tears the altar down and sacrifices. Well, the next day, the guys in the city wake up and they're furious. And they said, who did this? And they start asking around, and they put two and two together, connect the dots, and they realize Gideon is the guy who did it. And so they bring him out, they're going to kill him. And this is where I really respect Gideon's dad. He steps forward and basically says, why do you need to do this? Isn't Baal enough to defend himself? Why do you need to kill him? You know, this is Baal's altar that he broke down. Let Baal judge him. Of course, Baal didn't, because Baal's a non-entity. And he survives. And, okay, he passed his first test. God brought him through it. And then, God says, the Spirit of God came upon him in a very mighty way. And Gideon, you blew the trumpet, and 32,000 people from around Israel came to fight an army of 135,000. That's not very good odds. And the Lord says, there's too many people here. If you win the victory, you're going to say it's because of our great strength. And so he says, okay, anyone who's afraid, go home. And it's interesting, that theme of fear runs throughout the entire section, talking about Gideon. He's afraid, the army's afraid, people of Israel are afraid, his son later on is afraid. Fear is a very common theme. And every time God helps him overcome his fear. It's just like, I don't know if you ever remember the very first time you tried to witness to someone and your heart was thumping and you're fearing rejection, or what would they think of all this? I remember the very first time in K-State, that very first Sunday, I lived in the dorm. I got up and I had to walk through the lobby carrying my Bible to go to church. And that was a big deal. That was hard. Yet God gave grace. But little by little, God leads us, through greater and greater challenges. So anyway, he says, if you're afraid, go home. 22,000 people leave. So now you're down to 10,000 against 135,000. Or still too many. And he basically says, I'm going to go through and tell you who to keep, who not. Have everyone go down to the river and get a drink. Anyone who kneels down, with their face down to the water and drinks, send home. Those are kind of dorky. Just stay upright and go. All like a dog. Kind of let the water on your hands. But interestingly, they're the ones with their eyes about what's going on. He says, those are the ones to keep. So he went from 10,000 troops down to 300. He says, now you're ready. And you can imagine, just seriously, okay, let's just imagine, you take an army of 135,000. How many fans does the India Stadium hold? About 60-some thousand? Yeah. Take roughly 2 India football stadiums full of soldiers, with the camels, with the tents, spread out all over the place in the Jezreel Valley. And you're supposed to go fight them with 300 people? That would be terrifying. And to be honest, Gideon, I think, is scared still. And he says, well, God, if this is really you, and you're going to deliver me, and he comes up with this kind of a deal. God, I'm going to put this fleece, this sheep's skin, on the ground. And the next morning, I want it to be wet, and all around it to be dry. Okay? God did it. Well, maybe that's coincidence. So he reversed it. I want the ground to be wet, the sheep's going to be dry. This time. Again, God did it. And Gideon is still afraid. And the Lord finally says, well, Gideon, do this. Take your servant, and tonight sneak down into the camp right by the Midianites and listen to what is being said. So he does. He goes down near the camp, and he hears these guys talking. And the one guy is telling him a dream he had. Of this barley loaf came rolling down off the mountain, hit his tent, and knocked over. And he said, that surely must mean that Gideon, the sword of Gideon, is going to come in and destroy us. And Gideon was so encouraged. And he went back to his people. And he said, it's really interesting. To the 300, here's what he said. God has, not will, God has given the Midianites into our hands. It was, in his mind now, it was as good as done. And it's interesting, God honored his faith. He now got a confirmed, God had shared his faith with him, and he was willing to step out. And probably most of you know the story. Gideon, 300 men, took 300 trumpets, ram's horns most likely, took these big clay pots with a torch inside, and they got them all around the perimeter of the Jezreel Valley, where all these people were with all their camels and everything. And on the signal, Gideon broke his jar, held out the torch, and all of them started to blow their trumpets. Years ago, back during the Depression years before my dad was married, he worked out in Idaho on a sheep ranch, and just see this other guy out there in this tent, kind of watching the sheep. Well, at night, if the sheep started to make a lot of noise, that often meant that there's a coyote or a wolf or something coming. And so the guy in the tent with Dad got out of the tent, did not wake my dad up. He was asleep. Stepped outside the tent with a double-barrel shotgun and goes, boom! And my dad, was dead asleep, stayed just up on the top of the tent. He was scared the daylights out of it. Well, just imagine you're asleep, and all of a sudden, all around your camp, you're hearing 300 horns, trumpets blasting. And the echo. And when you look out and, oh my gosh, you see these torches all around. And it's, where you are, it's pitch black, and you jump out of your tent, and some guy's going to torch you, and you say, oh, it must be an Israeli. And so you start fighting. Out of the 135,000 people in the camp that night, 120,000 died. They killed each other. The other 15,000 fled. And then Gideon again called the people of Israel, they took out after them. I wish I could say it had a happy ending. Gideon won a tremendous victory. But let me just read a section after the victory. It says, thus the Midianites were subdued before Israel. It did not raise its head again. During Gideon's lifetime, the land enjoyed peace for 40 years. Jerubbaal, which is now Gideon's new name, after destroyed the altar, son of Joash, went back to home to live. He had 70 sons of his own, for he had many wives. His concubine, who lived in Shechem, also bore him a son, whom he named Abimelech. Gideon's son Joash died at a middle. Gideon, son of Joash, died at a middle of old age and was buried in the tombs of his father Joash. As says, no sooner had Gideon died than Israel again prostituted itself to Baal. They set up Baal-Berith as their god and did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hands of all their enemies. They also failed to show gratitude to the family of Gideon and Jerubbaal, and for that, and for all the good things he'd done for them. And again, God judges them. And you just see that pattern over and over and over and over. Throughout the Old Testament, you think, man, when will they ever get it? When will they learn? What's sad is it says that he had 70 sons plus one son from a concubine named Abimelech. And I'm guessing the 70 sons did not treat Abimelech real good. Eventually, Abimelech came to power. Do you know what he did? He killed 69 of the 70 sons. He couldn't find the other. So all of Gideon's sons died. Just one remained. And then God judged him like a lady on this one tower dropped a stone on his head and killed him. Injured him, and he said, I don't want to die. Saying, the woman killed me, so he asked this guy, and so the guy just struck him through with a sword. So they're like, sometimes, and there's one other chapter of Gideon I want to bring out. Sometimes our greatest failings and failures come after our greatest successes. Because I think pride goes to our head. I was talking earlier this evening. After I graduated from K-State, I've been the president of a Christian group very similar to the Rock, over K-State, called InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. And I wanted to go into missions, but my draft board during Vietnam said, no, you can't get a firm that way. You've got to go through a denomination. You can't go through some independent missions group. So I checked with the Evangelical Covenant Church, which is very similar in spirit to InterVarsity, interdenominational of sorts. And they said there's a little church up in Nebraska. It's on the verge of closing. Down about 30, 40 people, but they need a pastor, which he did. And I thought, well, I could do that for 6 months. Well, it was one of the God things. When I got there, it was small in number, but they had probably 10 to 15 kids, all in the junior high school age group. Well, I was only 22 at the time, and I've been used to working with college students, and so I started a coffee house, and started working with kids, and God bless them, I don't know how to say it. Within a year, our little tiny church had tripled in size. We had later a Jesus Jubilee for the kids in the coffee house. We invited everyone within a 40-mile radius of Sioux City, Iowa, this little town of Tender. And we had 72 people receive Christ. Within that first year and a half, that little church tripled, but we outgrew the little tiny country church, the little small town church where we were. These farmers all got their money together, completely built and paid for a new church. Well, I was young, I was inexperienced, and it went to my head, because people had me on this pedestal. And to be honest, I was enjoying it. I really was. And I was enjoying seeing God use me. But like I say, pride thinking, I get hard. There was a lady that had been like a mother to me when I first got there. But she had a weight problem. And she came to me for counseling, and I just gave her some had answers. And in hindsight, I realize now I was treating the symptoms, not the problem. But I didn't know better. And she turned on me. And for a year and a half, every sermon I preached in that church, she was making faces at me. I was getting nasty phone calls from her. And it was miserable. I'm just absolutely miserable. But in hindsight, I'm so thankful God did that, because He humbled me. And I got to the place I literally could not get in to preach. And even tonight, I always think twice. I don't want to do it in my own power, because I've seen what God does in love. I remember one sermon I preached, and I thought, man, that's a good sermon. Boy, next Sunday, I really want to show up. Smack. It's like God did not show up that Sunday. And they let didn't see Bart Larson. Gideon, the same thing. After this great victory, he took an opportunity to get rich. He shouldn't have done that, but he did. He asked everyone, all of the troops, every how many thousands were, to donate one of their gold earrings. And it added up to a lot of gold. And the most stupid, dumb things he ever did, he made an idol. And it says it became a snare for him and his entire family. And why would you do that? You just witnessed that God did this amazing thing and you make this dumb idol. You're just going back and doing the same stuff that God brought judgment in the first place. But He did. I think Satan, often, his greatest attacks will come when we let down our guard. We've just had this awesome victory. And, you just passed the test, you thought you were going to flunk this course, and you passed. What do? You go ahead and get drunk. You do something bad. And people do that. Satan will often get us when our guard is down. And getting back to Gideon, all of us have a Gideon in us. I don't know if you struggle with fear. I do. I've gotten a whole lot better as the years have gone by. I've seen God just very faithfully work time and again. And I remember even that one summer I worked at this Christian camp out in Colorado Springs, Maritime Ranch. It was the last day of camp. I was almost in tears. It had been, you talk about a mountaintop experience, it had been the highlight of my life that summer. And now I was having to pack up and go back to K-State. It was my last semester. I crammed 4 years and 4.5, so I had one more semester to go. A lot of my student friends were leaving, and I was depressed. And like I say, I was almost in tears. And I was packing my car, and I just put on the radio. And for whatever reason, they had the most beautiful rendition of that song, "Be Still My Soul, the Lord is on my side, God in future as His past." It sounded like a Mormon Tabernacle choir, but it just filled the car. And it's just like I felt God speaking to me, saying, "Bart, I just gave you this awesome summer. Look how faithful I've been. Won't I be faithful in the future?" And remember that passage I read in Revelation? What was one of the names of Christ? Faithful and true. He's faithful. I don't know what plans God has for your life. But I can tell you this, it far, far, far exceeds what you think. If, this is conditional, if you are humbly walking with Him. If you just come before Him and say, "God, here I am. Whatever you want to do with my life, do it." Back when I was a freshman at K-State, I was being hit pretty hard by some people who are charismatic movement, and I'm not criticizing them. But they were telling me I had to speak in tongues and do different things to be filled with the Spirit. And I didn't know. But I remember for 2 weeks solid, every night I would get down on my knees at my bed, and I would just pour out my heart to God. And I just gave myself as wholeheartedly to God as I could, from the hair on the top of my head to the sole of my feet. And it's hard to put into words, but one night God showed up. It's just like His presence filled that room. I never did speak in tongues. I know others who do, and I believe it's for them to talk to each other for all of them. I never did speak in tongues. But I know God. And from then to now, there's always been a power in my life, and it isn't because I'm an eloquent speaker. It's just like God took this Kansas farm kid and uses it. And it's kind of like when you realize that it has very little to do with you and everything with God. There was a lady I had a patient one time. She was a large lady, big, strong. Said for most of her life she'd never been under 200 pounds. Her brother used to ride the rodeo, and for fun, this lady would ride bulls and fight the broncs. And she was just a big lady, tough. I would not want to fight her right now. Well, anyway, she told the story. They had this dairy herd. The little creek behind their house flooded and washed out the fence. And their entire dairy herd got out. And their dairy, this Holstein bull, big bull, mean, got out. So she went down there with a hammer, nails for staples, and she's going to grab a cattle and fix the fence. Well, she's out in the middle of the pasture, and as she's trying to drive this Holstein bull, he turned on her and charged her. And she said there's no place to run. She knew she was not running. And so she stood there with the hammer just like this. And that bull was charging her. And she said he got right up to her, and he hit the brakes, and she said they had a staring contest, and he turned around and walked away. And I got to thinking later, I wonder if that bull saw her or an angel behind her. God delights in using little things. He delights in using many of us. And He knows we're fearful. He knows we are. And it's interesting, as God delivered Gideon from that very first encounter with the people in the city, he said that God is the God of peace. Here you've been so afraid, and next thing you know, God replaces the fear with peace. And you know, there's a pretty good indicator of how close you are to God. Is if you have peace. Or are you living in fear? And I'm not condemning because I've lived way too long in there inside too. But I've come to the place in my life now where I do not ever want to get into fear. I want to choose faith, even if it's hard. And I was talking to a friend driving over here tonight, and he said, Mark, it just seems like you undergo a lot of spiritual warfare, and I do, probably more than average. And you have heard Adrian Rogers say one time, if you never bump into the devil, it means you must be going the same direction. I hate the devil quite a bit. And it's hard, and it's no fun. And to be honest, I've been sick of it. At the very same time, if that's Christ's sake, following Christ and keeping me humble, then yeah, bring it on. And it's interesting with the Apostle Paul, in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, what happened? God gave Paul a thorn in the flesh for Satan. And 3 times, Paul prayed and pleaded with God, take it away. And God said, no. That my grace is sufficient for you, for my grace is made perfect in weakness. And we like to do things because we're strong, we're lucky, all these kind of things, smart. And God says, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And someone said, when God measures a person, he doesn't put the tape measure around the head, but around the heart. I have seen little old ladies, they're on the deathbed, who I think are probably some of the most powerful people in the United States because they pray. And I think Satan will tremble at their prayers. The Bible says that man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. And you can't judge a book by its cover. I don't know how many times you've seen a picture of some famous person, and you look and you say, man, he just looks ordinary. Yeah. Some people are downright ugly. You look how God used them. I remember back when I was a student at K-State, I went to this conference. And there's a man there, a speaker, a named Gene Thomas. He was overweight. His face was scarred from acne and everything else. He had a big nose, thick lips, big jowl under his chin. And he was not good looking. And he talked kind of like this. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long weekend. Because he was a speaker. But I have heard thousands of talks in my life on radio, but I can tell you the talks he gave. Because the power of God is coming through. And it's just like, wow. And you just cannot judge a book by its cover. And James, can I pick on you just for a quick second? I was at a conference one time, and I had my roommate was a guy with cerebral palsy. And I thought, wow, why did I get stuck with him? And the very first night we were praying together, and he prayed one of the most humble prayers I've ever heard, and he asked God to forgive him for not witnessing more. And he was very, really bad. He was a slobber, couldn't do anything by himself. I had to dress him, and I didn't sign up for that. And I remember I was so arrogant and so offended that I ended him as my roommate. But when he prayed, God forgive me for not witnessing more, I thought, man, what's my excuse? And to this day, I don't remember what that conference was even about. But I still remember the name and the way he touched my life. And I thought he died, and just a couple of years ago, from a friend, I found out he was still alive, and I was able to pull him up. And he remembered it, and we remembered each other. Again, we just cannot fathom what God would use us for. And I don't care what your handicaps are, what you think your strengths are, your weaknesses. Often God will use your weaknesses as His strength. And again, with Gideon, it's a prime example. God is tender, He's gracious. He took him along. He didn't ask you to, in some ways, to do more than you can do. And each step, though, God confirmed, I'm with you. And as you step out of faith, God will be there. It's scary, yeah. But also, if you think about it, the rewards are out of this world, literally forever. And people have earthly riches. In fact, you probably heard the story about the two guys who were talking about Bill Gates. And the one guy said, how much money do you think Bill Gates will leave when he dies? His friends thought this was all of it. You know, you can't do it with you. But whatever God gives, whatever rewards God gives, those are eternal. And those are never, never, never. I want to close with this last illustration. Some of you may have heard of a missionary named Jim Elliot. He lived back in the 50s. And he and 4 other guys went to Ecuador as missionaries to the Auca Indians. And bottom line, they were martyred, all 5 of them. Elizabeth Elliot, his wife, and one of the other wives went back to that same village years later and led to Christ. And I was at an urban missionary convention one time, and I heard where the Auca Indians had actually killed Jim Elliot, give his testimony. That is powerful. But Jim Elliot had a phrase. He said, he is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. And I guess my challenge to all of us tonight from Gideon is go for it. To be honest, I'd rather start weak and end strong than be like Gideon, start strong and end weak. Ideally, start strong, finish strong. That would be my prayer. And as we walk humbly with God, it's possible because we have a very powerful Savior living in us. And we also have a God who lovingly will use the feather or two before. Whatever it takes, to get our attention. Last time I was here, I ran out these little booklets. It's a little booklet I wrote called Legally God You Can't See. I used to work as a chaplain at Mike Hospital, and I used to tell the teens, it's hard to believe something down here in your heart, you don't believe us here. Well, this book is for up here. And just rational reasons on why there is a God, why there's a creator, why there is intelligent design, that we aren't just a bunch of random atoms thrown together. And I can keep on. Let's pray. Father, I thank you that you lovingly use us in spite of ourselves. I thank you that you're a mighty God. And Lord, just as you called Gideon, the mighty warrior, before he even fought his first battle, Lord, you have a name for each of us. And help us by your grace to embrace that name, to embrace your calling on our lives. Lord, you know our fears, our insecurity, our low self-esteem. But Lord, may that never be an excuse for not being used to you. Lord, just help us to humbly submit ourselves to you and to your calling in our lives. And I just pray, according to your word, you would be far more better, that all that we can either ask or think, according to the power and work of us. First in Christ's name we pray. Amen.